OBDSTAR DC706 versus SIMTEC76.1. Why bench mode fails, but boot mode works. Full breakdown. Have you ever connected your OBDSTAR DC706 to a Chevrolet Cruze with a SIMTEC76.1 ECU, only to find out that bench mode won't work? No matter how perfectly you've wired it up, you're not alone. And today we're diving headfirst into this frustrating issue. Here's the big question. Why does bench mode fail on the SIMTEC76.1, but boot mode works just fine? If you know the answer, pause this video right now and drop your theory in the comments. Let's see how many pros are watching. Before we go any further, here's our quick and important disclaimer. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. Everything shown, whether it's demonstrations, discussions, or diagnostics, is aimed at helping technicians, learners, and enthusiasts expand their automotive programming knowledge. We follow fair use guidelines, and no copyrighted material is used commercially. All trademarks belong to their respective owners. Always work safely and follow your local regulations and OEM procedures when working on vehicle electronics. Welcome back to Baabji Motors, your one-stop pit lane for everything automotive diagnostics, programming, and ECU wizardry. Today's story comes from a real-world user report, straight from the trenches of automotive electronics. And it's about the OBDSTAR DC706 trying to handle a Chevrolet Cruze SIMTEC76.1 ECU that has an external flash chip, the AM29F800. So here's what happened. The user connected the DC706 programmer to the SIMTEC76.1 ECU using bench mode, hoping to read and write the flash. Now, if you've used DC706 before, you'd expect it to perform flawlessly. At first glance, it did. It successfully read ECU information while in bench mode. That's a good start, right? But hold on, because when it came time to actually read and write the flash, the bench connection failed. Nothing. No communication. Dead in the water. Even after adjusting the power supply to a steady 14 to 15 volts, it still didn't respond. At this point, many users would throw in the towel. But not this one. They took the next logical step, boot mode. And guess what? It worked. Now, before we go deeper, if this kind of real-world troubleshooting content helps you, take a moment right now to hit that like button. Our goal is 10,000 likes and 1,000 comments in just 24 hours, and your click seriously powers this community. Also, if you haven't already, please subscribe to Baabji Motors. It's free for you, but it keeps this channel running and helps more people find these videos. And don't forget to ring that bell so you never miss an update. Let's take a closer look at the hardware involved here. The SIMTEC76.1 ECU, commonly found in various Chevrolet models like the Cruze, uses an external flash chip, specifically the AM29F800. This is important because unlike modern integrated ECUs where memory and control modules are tightly sealed, external flash designs are more vulnerable to communication issues, especially over bench mode. Now, bench mode is supposed to be plug-and-play for the most part. The programmer supplies power, lines are connected, and you should be able to read and write data. But what makes this ECU tricky is that its external flash memory requires precise signal timing and pin communication, which some programmers, depending on the adapter quality, software version, and firmware, might struggle to handle in bench mode. That's exactly what happened here. Despite powering the ECU correctly with a solid 14/15V adapter, the DC706 couldn't complete the read/write task through bench. That's where the magic of boot mode comes in. So, what is boot mode and why did it work here? Boot mode essentially puts the ECU into a low-level state, bypassing most of its internal security protocols. This allows the programmer to directly interface with the microcontroller and external flash chip, bypassing any intermediate buffers, watchdogs, or voltage controllers that might cause hiccups during a bench session. In this case, after opening the ECU, the user applied boot pin configurations directly on the board and was able to read and write the data without any issues. That tells us something critical. The DC706 isn't the problem. The problem lies in the way bench mode communicates with this particular external flash architecture. This is super valuable information for anyone troubleshooting similar ECUs. If you're stuck on bench, don't give up. Try boot mode, especially for ECUs with external memory chips like the AM29F800. Are you finding this deep dive helpful? Then help others find it too. Drop a comment below if you've ever faced a similar situation or have your own ECU horror story. Your experience might help someone else avoid a costly mistake. And hey, if you really enjoy this kind of technical content, consider hitting the super thanks button. It's a direct way to support Baabji Motors and keep these videos coming. Let's sum up what we learned today, because there are clear takeaways. 1. Bench mode can appear to work. You may get ECU info, but that doesn't guarantee flash-level read/write access. 2. External flash chips like the AM29F800 often require direct communication, which may not be stable over bench mode. 3. Voltage isn't always the issue. Even a solid 15V supply might not help if signal routing is blocked internally. 4. Boot mode is your friend when dealing with complex or non-cooperative ECUs. If you're a technician, this is gold. Knowing when to switch to boot can save you hours of frustration, or worse, a bricked ECU. We're halfway through, and if you've made it this far, thank you for being a true Baabji Motors supporter. It really means the world. If you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to do it now. Be part of a growing family of automotive thinkers, fixers, and innovators. Hit like, drop your thoughts below, and let's make this one of the most helpful videos in the diagnostics world today. The truth is, we're seeing more and more ECUs that require boot access, even in cars that are just a few years old. Automotive security is getting tighter, and so is ECU architecture. That means tools like the OBDSTAR DC706 need to be used smartly, not just forcefully. This case shows how user knowledge is just as important as tool power. A smart technician knew that when bench mode hit a wall, boot mode could bypass it. That kind of insight doesn't come from manuals, it comes from real-world practice, and that's what we aim to bring to you here at Baabji Motors. From our side at Baabji Motors, we think the DC706 is a fantastic tool, but like any programmer, it's only as good as the person using it. You need to know when to go manual, when to try boot, and when to step back and reanalyze the hardware. What do you think? Should programmers be able to handle ECUs like the SIMTEC76.1 on bench mode without needing boot access? Or is this just the reality of modern automotive design? Share your opinion in the comments below. Let's get a technical conversation going. We read every comment and reply to as many as we can. Did you know? The AM29F800 flash chip used in this ECU was first introduced back in the mid-90s. It's still found in vehicles made decades later because of its reliability. Now it's a chip with staying power. Now let's circle back to the question we asked at the beginning. Why does bench mode fail on the SIMTEC76.1, but boot mode works? The answer is because of the ECU's external flash architecture, AM29F800, which often blocks bench-level read/write commands, but allows direct access through boot mode. That's your golden nugget for today. Thanks for watching this far. At Baabji Motors, we're proud to help you get better at diagnostics, one ECU at a time. If you haven't yet, smash that like button, leave a comment with your thoughts, share this with your fellow technicians, and subscribe to never miss a hands-on, real-world solution like this again. And hey, if today's video saved you time or a bricked ECU, consider dropping a super thanks. It helps us continue creating content that keeps your garage running smooth. Until next time, stay sharp, stay safe, and happy diagnosing.